you probably know that when you open a book and you look at a page, especially if it's a book for younger kids, you usually see two different kinds of things on a page. Who could raise their hand and tell me what kinds of things you might see on a page of a book? Yes?
Pictures.
Pictures and? What?
Arthur.
And what?
Arthur.
And Arthur? You mean the character Arthur?
No, the author.
Oh, the author. Yes, the person who makes, what does the author do? He writes the words, exactly. So the person in charge of the words is called an author. What's the person who's in charge of the pictures called? Does anybody know? Yeah.
An illustrator.
An illustrator, that's right. And guess which one am I?
Illustrator.
How'd you know? Right, because I'm wearing a smock and I got a paintbrush. I've got all these different kinds of things. All these kinds of things that an illustrator might need. So I'm going to tell you how I made the illustrations for this book. This is I've illustrated about 20 books for kids. And there's this holiday coming, and it's called Hanukkah. I think you probably heard of Hanukkah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens is there's actually not just two people involved in making a book. There's three people. There's the author in charge of the words, and the illustrator in charge of the pictures, and the publisher who's in charge of both of them. The publisher is the boss. They print the books, and they hire the author, and they hire the illustrator. So what happens is, first, the publisher calls up the author on the phone and says, "Hello there, we need a book about Hanukkah. Will you please write one?" And the author says, "Sure." They write the book. Then when they're all done, the publisher calls me on the phone, I hope, and says, "I have this great manuscript from my author. Would you please illustrate it?" And I say, "Absolutely, I like working. Send me the manuscript. I would love to make you some pictures." And this is what happens. He emails me this, or he mails it in the regular mail. And this is the manuscript for this book. And as you can see, manuscripts look very boring. There is nothing going on in this manuscript that's worth looking at. It has a lot of good words, because these are the words that are going to make a book. But when you look at it, it's kind of boring. So my job is to make this look a lot more interesting. Now it's okay. So the first thing, as an illustrator, my first and most important job is to read the words very carefully in the manuscript, because you have to make sure that the pictures match the words, right? Because what's your name? Olivia. And what's your name? Rebecca. Yeah, you told me that before. So if the word said, "Olivia was in the park sitting and reading a book," and instead I drew a picture of Rebecca playing baseball in her basement, then the book would not make sense at all. So I have to make sure to read the words very carefully. And that's what I'm going to do. And when I read the words, I make myself a list. And the list is of all the different things that are happening in the words that I have to make sure to put in the picture. So will you guys help me make the list? I'm going to read the first paragraph of this book, and we'll make the list just like I make it when I'm making an illustration, okay? You going to help me? Yeah? Okay. So, here are the words. "The land of Judea came alive in the early morning sun." So what's in those words that I can make a picture of? Let's see, Judea. Judea is another name for Israel. You heard of Israel? So the land of Judea came alive in the early morning sun. Sun, I'll put that on the list too. I can draw a picture of the sun. I know what the sun looks like. Okay. "Children raced among its hills. Shepherd herded their sheep. Farmers tilled the soil, and olive pressers with huge stone wheels pressed olives into oil." Okay, what's in those words? Can someone tell me what's in those words that I should put on the list? Yeah.
Wheels.
Wheels, the big stone olive press, yes. The oil and the olive oil is going to be a big part of the Hanukkah miracle, so we'll make sure to put that in the picture. What else was in there? "Children raced among its hills." What's in those words that I could put on my list? Yes. Children. And where are they racing? Children raced among its hills. So we can put hills on the list. Okay? Shepherds herded their sheep. Anything else? Yeah?
Sheep.
Sheep and their shepherds. This is going to be a long list.
A lot of pictures.
Yeah, lots to put in here. Actually, I should have turned the print. Okay. Let's see. "And on a mountain in the city of Jerusalem, Jerusalem stood the holy temple where Jewish people came to worship God. There was music and singing and joy filled the air. So what else could go on that list? Yes. The temple. That's where the miracle happens, right? The menorah inside the temple. And the oil lasts 8 days. You heard that one before? So temple is very important. Anything else? Where's the temple? What city? Jerusalem. Jerusalem. Okay. That's a long list. Okay, so the way I see it is I have to make a picture of olives, the olive press hills, sheep, shepherds, children, Jerusalem, temple, sun, Israel. Oh my gosh, how am I going to do that? That's a lot of stuff. So I have to get a little bit organized. And I have to think, do you guys ever have this in school? Do they ever say to you, what's the main idea of this paragraph? Do their teachers ever say, read this paragraph and then say, what's the whole point? Do they do that? Okay, so what was the whole point of those words? The children are racing among the hills. The shepherds are shepherding the sheep. And what's the mood? What's going on? What do you think's going on? Do you think everybody's sad? What?
Like everybody's like some of the people are trying to catch stuff.
Yeah, everybody's kind of going about their daily business. And joy filled the air, right? So everybody is, what is everybody? Are they sad? They're happy, yeah. The main idea of this paragraph is that everybody living in the land of Israel is happy, which is a great thing. And you know why they're all happy? Because it's the first page of the Hanukkah book, and the Greek soldiers are still back there, and they haven't shown up yet. So they're happy. Nothing bad's happened. So the main idea is happy. Happy is on my list. I have another illustrator problem. How do I make a picture of happy? I know how to make a picture of children. Children have eyes, a nose, a mouth, legs. What does happy look like? Yeah. Are you showing me your happy smile? Yeah, I think you're right. I think everybody in this picture should be smiling, and that will make us know that everybody's happy. But there's another illustrator way to make happy. And to understand this way, we're going to conduct an experiment. Ready?